Do you ever watch a YouTube video with really fancy editing and some cool music at a car wash? This isn't one of those videos. Make it wet. Make it soapy. No, that's too soapy. Rinse it. But now it's all wet again. Dry it. Perfect. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. And welcome to another video. Today's video is one I have been putting off for a while, mainly because it's going to be time consuming and detail oriented. Back in my day, I did work for an auto spa and a Toyota dealership in their recon departments, doing detailing on cars, and it's something I did a lot of back then, so I don't really care to do it today. But the DSM needs it, and I think it'll be helpful for some of you. Now, to try and help you guys out as much as possible if you're following along, and in an attempt to keep as many DSMs that are left out there as clean as possible, I'm going to leave links to every product that I use, or at least try to get you links to every product that I use. So if you want to replicate what I do here today, you'll be able to. First thing you need to do when you're detailing, obviously, is get the car clean. We've taken care of that. Now let's get in the garage and start the rest of the process. First things first, this is a little thing, but again, we're detailing. I always take the wipers off and paint them if necessary. These ones do show a little bit of, I don't know, like surface rust, so we'll paint those quick. Pop this little cover here, and then you got a 12mm nut in there. The passenger side is a little bit longer than the driver's side, so keep that in mind. And the wiper sizes are, I think, 23 inches on the driver's side, 21 inches on the passenger side if you want to order new ones. Then if you have spots like this on the wiper, I do like to sand those down, ideally with a random orbital. Unfortunately, I don't have one here, so I'm just going to be using a grinder with a wire wheel. Then I use wire hangers to just run it through the hole and then spray paint them. I'm going to start with this Rust-Oleum sandable primer. If it's too flat, I'll use a semi-gloss, but we'll start with this. Primer turned out just fine, so hang them out to dry, we'll put them on at the end. Going to touch on this really quick because it is a popular item in the comments. The original spoiler, I don't know if I'll be putting it back on in this episode or not, but it will be getting polished today. Before I put it back on, I am going to wrap this section in carbon fiber. So if that gets done in this episode, I will put the spoiler back on, but if not, it'll be in one of the next ones. Okay, so next we'll start prepping the car for polish. I'm going to pop off the windshield sprayer nozzles. Back here, I'll pull out the antenna delete and the rear wiper delete. That way when we're running the polisher across here, we don't have to be so careful around these areas. We can just go straight over it. To get the wiper nozzles out, you'll just disconnect the little hose that feeds the fluid to them. And then the nozzles themselves have these little clips on them. And you can either go up from underneath and poke them, or if you're really careful, use like a credit card or something plastic, stick it under there, push in and pull up. Like this. Disconnect it first, then use a little plastic wedge and push in and up, and they'll pop right out. If you don't know how to remove these, go ahead and watch my rear wiper delete video. You'll see it pretty easy. Okay, with all those little items off, we can clay the car. I have a mother's clay kit here. I used this on my Z back in the day when I first got it, so I'm going to use it on this car too. The car does have quite a bit of overspray on it. The majority of it came from when I had the moldings and the door handles painted, but in my last video when I did the calipers, I definitely got some more on it. You can maybe hear it. That really rough noise, and you can feel it. When we're done with this car, it's going to feel like butter, but right now it feels a little chalky. Less is more with the clay, in my opinion. If you have a more abrasive or less abrasive option, I always go with the less abrasive option, and then definitely be generous with the lube of choice, which in this case is an instant detailer spray. Just to give you guys a little idea of how I do it, you just spray one section, and then I go up and down, in my opinion, left and right. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Some elitists might chime in. If you're working on a black car, you might want to be more specific, but silver and some of these lighter colors, white, you can pretty much do anything and not go wrong. Keep a clean microfiber with you. That's what you'll use to dry. And when the paint feels like butter, when your hand goes across it, you know you're doing it right. I'm just going to keep working on this, and I'll come back to you when I'm done. Okay, I just finished the clay and it has made a huge difference. I don't know if you remember hearing it before. It was kind of scratchy sounding, but listen to this. So that's a good start. Next we'll get the overspray off the glass. For the glass, I just use glass cleaner and a razor blade. Did I mention the spoiler's going back on? Okay, all the glass is clean. Now I gotta go over the car and get any like tar or sometimes if a door will like swing open at Walmart and ding it, it'll leave like a red or whatever color the other car is behind. So I use acrylic lacquer thinner for that. So this is acrylic lacquer thinner. Use it sparingly. Definitely don't use it on spray paint. Like always, there may be some elitist in the comments who says, do not do that, you idiot. But I've been using this for long time. You know, not quite 20 years, but I've been using this for a long time. And shiz works. So it might be kind of hard to see in the camera, but like right here, there's like some tar or something. I just put a little bit of acrylic lacquer thinner on the towel, wipe that tar, and boom, no more tar. So the stuff's pretty awesome, but like I said, use it sparingly and don't put it on any like spray painted parts because it'll rip that right off. Another good thing is like touch-up paint. If somebody went and did some touch-up at one point and did a really crappy job, the lacquer thinner usually takes that off. So see like there, now it's just that little spot. Let me see if I can get a better example. So see this touch-up spot, how crappy it is, everything's out of the lines. Just run that lacquer thinner over it and it should take away everything that's outside of the lines and leave behind everything that it was meant to fill in the first place. So see how much better that looks? I'm going to go over and clean the entire car now with the lacquer thinner, only in the spots where it needs it, but I'll come back to you as soon as that's done. I will add, I'm not trying to make the Eclipse absolutely perfect. If it's absolutely perfect, I'll never want to drive it. I just want to make it nice enough to the point where when people see it, they're like, dang, that's a 99, that thing's clean, man. So that's the goal here. Okay, so I got the car pretty well cleaned off right now. The last thing I'm gonna do tonight is just tape off everything that I think is at risk of getting hit by the buffer. You don't want a big, buffer burn or polish mark on moldings and stuff like that. So I'm gonna tape all that off. The dirty towels on the windshield there are just to cover the black part. Sometimes when you're polishing, you'll get like these white spray coming up. That just makes your life easier. When you're done, you just pull those off instead of sitting there cleaning it out. So let's get to taping off and then we'll call it a night and start polishing tomorrow. Everything I need taped off is taped off for the polisher. It's getting late, so I'll catch you guys in the morning.
The next day.
Oh, I love coffee. Tried to quit for a long time, but can't. We got a lot of work to do today. All right, so if you're following along and you want to do this to your car, sooner or later you're going to need a variable speed polisher. This one is actually pretty bulky. They use a lot smaller ones today, but I've had this thing for 18 years. It's what I used back in my detailing days, so it's what I'm going to go with today. But nowadays they're using a lot smaller pads and a lot more compact polishers. Then today for our compounds, I go really light. Less is more in my opinion. I always like to keep the cut or the grit way low. Nothing bugs me more than when a car is just loaded up with swirls. A lot of people can't see it, but if you're in the know and you see a car that's all swirled up, they took the polisher to it. It might look shiny to some people, but to the discerning eye, you'll see circles everywhere where that polisher was run with that heavy grit compound. So I use a pretty light grit. This is an ultra finishing polish. So it's by Meguiar's. You can see right here on the scale of heavy cut to light cut, it's pretty light, so it's not gonna dig into our paint super deep. And then with that finishing polish, I just use like a terry cloth bonnet. It just goes over a finishing pad that I use. And then when we're done with this step, we'll go to a polymer sealant on a finishing pad. I just got this one at Harbor Freight. What that'll do is this will give us a nice shine, clean up the scratches and the wear marks from car washes throughout the years, and then this will kind of give us a nice protective layer on top. It's not anything like a ceramic coat. This will wear off after multiple washes or a couple months, so you want to be diligent about keeping a sealant on there. But I like this route because if you do like the ceramic coats nowadays and you ever plan to repaint anything, it makes the painting a lot harder for the auto body guys because it's basically a second clear coat. I'm old school, so I'm just going to go with a polymer sealant because it's cheap and I can apply it once every 3 months and keep the car looking really good. Okay, now the key to polishing is to kind of let the polisher do the work. If you ever use like a saw or a cutoff wheel, you don't want to like take the saw and just push down hard on whatever you're cutting. You just kind of slowly apply pressure and let the saw or the grinding wheel or whatever it is you're using do the work, and it's no different with the polisher. You have to put a tiny bit of pressure on it, but not so much where you're pushing against the paint super hard and gonna heat it up really fast. But that said, if you're using a low grit polish, you can do a lot of practicing and not mess anything up. And if it's your first time polishing, you know, it may be like eating an elephant. It might look like a really daunting task that you can't complete, but remember, you just take it one bite at a time. So we'll do one section at a time. I like to start on the hood. So we'll just start out doing a really small section on the top here, put down a little bit of polish. And then what I'm gonna do with the polishers, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna spread the polish this way, I'm gonna spread the polish that way, maybe come down once more here, and then do another pass back, and then I'll wipe and see where we're at. This is after one pass and a wipe, so I think I'm good with that. I'm just gonna polish away now and be back when I'm done. Okay, I have completed the first step. Next I'll use the polymer sealant, and instead of running the bonnets that I was using earlier, I'm just going to use a black finishing pad, and I've already kind of wetted it down with the sealant. So I'm going to go over the whole car with this without wiping, and then I'll wipe it all down when I'm done. The lighting is really bad in here, and I doubt the camera will do it justice, but this is the end result of a couple hours of polishing. And I'm not gonna lie, this thing is smooth. I wish you guys could feel it. It feels and looks like silk. Okay, just as an honorable mention, this Rust-Oleum truck bed liner is something I used to use in a lot of my fender wells. I'm not gonna do it to my car because the fender wells are actually in pretty good shape on this one. But if yours is pretty rough, you know, if it's rusty, try to get the rust out, cut it out, sand it out, whatever. And then if you need to cover it up, use this stuff. But this stuff is great, it's super durable. I actually painted a whole Jeep ZJ in it once. Before I got my ZJ that I have now, I had another one. I'll put a picture up of it if I can find it, but this stuff is great for, you know, under the car and in the wheel wells. Also, if you are one of the bros out there missing your little rubber seal or liner or whatever it is right here, 1-inch vinyl would look pretty nice over that. Also, that bed liner that I was just talking about, you could tape this off prior to clay and polish and spray that with bed liner. I think that would look pretty good as well. Okay, I'm gonna throw the windshield sprayers back in, the windshield wipers. I got some new wiper blades. Let's see, where are those? Here are the wiper blades I got. They are a 22-inch and a 24-inch actually. I think I said the wrong size earlier. Actually, I think I would go with the 23-inch. This 24-inch is kind of long, but it fits. Somebody in the comments might say something about the headlights not looking good or not being polished. I did get a brand new set of headlights. I'm just not gonna put them in this video. I'll probably do a separate review on those because they're not OEM, and that way you guys will know if they're worth it or not. I think it's time to get this thing out in the sun and give it its final inspection. I doubt the camera will do her any kind of justice, but here she is, all shined up. Rear spoiler is not on yet. Did I mention I still have the rear spoiler and it's going to be going on again soon? This is a 1999 if you're new to the channel. It hasn't lived the easiest life. The previous owners were, you know, they kept it stock, but it wasn't perfect when I got it. The paint was faded, there was a lot of dents in it. But it is original paint, and as you can see, it shines up pretty nice. Well, original paint minus the bumper and this fender over here. This car was in a small small accident. As you can see, for a 21-year-old car, 22-year-old car, snapshot in time, it looks pretty good with a couple hours of polishing. This is probably its best angle with the light right now. I think that will do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you maybe learned something. The DSM is as easy a car as any to polish up and make look good. So, you know, most of you probably own your car for $2,000 or $3,000, and they're going for like 10, 11, 12,000 right now, so it might behoove you to polish it up a little bit, make it look nice. I don't think it's time wasted. It's almost an investment at this point. In any event, if you're enjoying the Eclipse content, stay tuned. I'll probably do those headlights in the next video, and then I'll either combine that with the carbon fiber wrapping that we'll do on the back, putting the rear spoiler on, or else I'll do that in the next one after that. That is going to be all for today though, guys. I appreciate you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'll catch you in the next one. By the way, that rear tire with that screw, still hanging in there. Did I mention I still have the rear spoiler and it's going to be going on again soon? Did I mention I still have the rear spoiler and it's going to be going on again soon? Also, did I mention the spoiler's alive and going back on the car, just probably not in this episode? All right, let's get to work.